Achilles, the greatest hero of the Trojan War, was born into a life marked by both glory and tragedy. From the moment of his birth, his fate was sealed, a life destined for eternal renown, yet cut short by a premature death. He was the son of Peleus, the king of the Myrmidons, and Thetis, a sea goddess. But a chilling prophecy loomed over him. Though his name would echo through eternity, his life would be brief. Desperate to change this fate, Thetis performed a powerful ritual. She immersed her infant son in the sacred waters of the River Styx, granting him invulnerability. Yet, the heel by which she held him remained untouched, leaving him with a single vulnerable point, a fateful detail that would one day shape his demise. Raised in the lush plains of Phthia, young Achilles grew under the watchful eye of the wise centaur Chiron. From Chiron, he learned the arts of war, strategy, and wisdom, becoming the greatest of Greek warriors. Alongside his training companions, Ajax, the mighty warrior of Salamis, and Patroclus, his loyal friend and brother-in-arms, Achilles forged bonds that would define his legacy. His connection with Patroclus in particular was unbreakable, a bond of brotherly love that would profoundly alter the course of the Trojan War. When the call to war came, Thetis, desperate to protect her son, urged Achilles to hide. Disguised as a woman, he sought refuge in the court of King Lycomedes. But the cunning Odysseus, ever resourceful, uncovered his hiding place. Achilles could not deny his destiny. Despite his mother's pleas, he embraced his role in the coming war, ready to carve his name into the annals of history. As the Greek forces rallied, tensions between Achilles and Agamemnon, the Greek commander, began to brew. Achilles' name was used to lure Queen Clytemnestra and her daughter Iphigenia to the camp under false pretenses. The promise of marriage to Achilles was a lie, a ruse to sacrifice Iphigenia to appease the gods. Furious at the deception, Achilles vowed to protect the young princess, but to his shock, she willingly offered herself for the sake of Greece. Her sacrifice marked the beginning of a war fraught with personal and collective tragedy. On the fields of Troy, Achilles' wrath was unmatched. Leading his Myrmidons, he struck down countless Trojan warriors, including Cycnus, a son of Poseidon. He plundered cities allied with Troy, claiming treasures and captives, including the beautiful Briseis. Yet his affection for Briseis would ignite a bitter conflict. When Agamemnon, forced to return his own captive to appease Apollo, demanded Briseis as compensation, Achilles' fury boiled over. The insult to his honor was too great to bear. He nearly killed Agamemnon, but was restrained by the goddess Athena. Enraged, Achilles withdrew from the battlefield, taking his Myrmidons with him. Without Achilles, the Greek forces faltered. The Trojans, led by the noble Hector, drove the Greeks back to their ships. The situation grew dire, and Patroclus, unable to stand by, begged Achilles to return. Achilles refused, but allowed Patroclus to wear his armor and lead the Myrmidons in his place. Patroclus' bravery turned the tide, but his decision to confront Hector proved fatal. The Trojan prince killed Patroclus and claimed Achilles' armor. When the news reached Achilles, his grief was unbearable. His sorrow turned to a consuming desire for vengeance. Re-entering the battlefield, Achilles unleashed his wrath. The Trojans fell in droves before his fury. Even the river god Scamander rose against him, angered by the blood flowing through his waters. Yet, with the help of Hephaestus, Achilles overcame even the divine river. His ultimate target, however, was Hector. When the two warriors met, it was a battle for the ages. Hector fought valiantly, but Achilles struck him down with a decisive blow. Rejecting Hector's plea for an honorable burial, Achilles desecrated his body, dragging it behind his chariot for all of Troy to see. Yet even in his rage, Achilles showed moments of humanity. When King Priam, Hector's father, came to his tent to beg for his son's body, Achilles was moved. He returned Hector to Troy, granting the Trojans a chance to mourn their fallen hero. Achilles' legend grew as he continued to fight. He defeated Penthesilea, the Amazon queen, and Memnon, the Ethiopian demigod. But even Achilles, the seemingly invincible warrior, could not escape his fate. During the final days of the war, Paris, aided by Apollo, struck Achilles in his only weak spot, his heel. The hero who had brought fear to the Trojans and glory to the Greeks fell, not in glorious combat, but to a single arrow. Achilles' death marked the end of an era. His body was burned on a grand pyre, his ashes mixed with those of his beloved Patroclus. Yet his legacy lived on. His son Neoptolemus carried on his name, leading the Greeks to victory during the final siege of Troy. Achilles' story is one of glory, rage, and humanity. His unmatched strength and unyielding pride made him a hero for the ages. But his vulnerability reminded us of the fragility that lies within us all. The greatest warrior of Greece left behind a legacy that endures, a tale of fate, love, and the cost of greatness.